Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at the defense Deoxys trio that myself, Scotty, and Sparkle Tangerine pulled off yesterday during the 1 hour, 1.5 hour time period where Niantic made the all legendary raids. In this case, all the all the Deoxys forms have 12,500 HP. Typically, tier 5 legendary raids have 15,000 HP, so it's basically a 20% reduction in HP for the Deoxys forms. And we did it up against the counter Thunderbolt, and we knew that this would be a relatively easy trio because we've attempted the trio at 15,000 HP, and we're probably about 10 seconds off, maybe like 5 seconds best off in the peak time period, and so it's very challenging to do. We were super excited to have it come back, and then when we saw the HP reduction, we thought, okay, it's time to round up the crew and let's get this trio done. And after I show this video and walk through it, I'm also going to talk about 3 reasons on why the Deoxys should have lower HP. But let's first get around to this video. So we are going up against counter Thunderbolt. Counter is triple resisted by Gengar twice because of the ghost typing, because it has quote unquote immunity status, and then once more because of the poison status. And then Thunderbolt is neutral but no stab, and we're using a mix of Shadow Claw and Lick Gengars, or Shadow Claw and Lick Gengars, along with Shadow Ball being the charge move. Sparkle Tangerine is on the left, I am in the middle, and Scotty is to the right. Scotty and Sparkle Tangerine are starting off with Lick Shadow Ball Gengars, and I'm starting with a Shadow Claw Shadow Ball Gengar because I actually swiped into the wrong team, but that's totally fine given how much of a buffer it is to beat this particular raid boss. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. So as you can see, we all have, I think we have 100%. I can't tell. The screen is very bright on these ones. It's very hard to see the white text, or maybe it's just me. Anyways, we're all on our third Gengars, and the debate on whether or not Shadow Claw and Lick, which one is better, it slightly depends on how important the charge move is, whether or not you're going to end the cycle, or the Gengars on average you're going to end with a Shadow Ball, or whether or not the number of Shadow Balls that you're going to be landing is the same. Then if that's the case, then you want to do Shadow Claw more. But if you are able to get off additional Shadow Ball, then Lick is going to be better. And Lick is generally better in the lead scenario because the raid boss is typically not as aggressive, because it starts off the raid with 0 energy and starts off the raid by always doing two fast moves, as you can probably tell. And I'm actually not 100% sure why it does that. Just some sort of weird game mechanism that they've probably carried over from gym battles, where when a defending Pokemon comes in, it always does two fast moves. I could be wrong about that because I haven't battled gyms in a while, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But anyways, as you can see, we are probably like 10 seconds away or so from flipping it to yellow, which will be 50%. So we flipped to yellow at 173, and we expect this to be a very easy raid because we almost beat it beforehand. Like on average, if you do an average run with average RNG against when it has 15,000 HP, you probably need and you have the right team or the team that we're using, you're probably like 15 to 20 seconds over time. So you need 325 seconds, and you divide that by 1.2, that'll leave you around 30 to 40 seconds remaining, somewhere in that 270 seconds required time. So I'm going to lobby first. So I'm going to lobby out early, and the reason why we want to stagger a lobby is that we if we're all out of the raid boss at the same time, then there's a significant HP regeneration, which is very annoying to deal with. Anyway, so we are just pounding away with these Shadow Balls against Gengars. We flip it at 108. So we're looking pretty good. Sparkle Tangerine and Scotty are going to be lobbing at the same time. And Sparkle Tangerine's back in, and Scotty is back in as well. And for some reason, Scotty's time is very out of sync, even though, as you can see, the Deoxys forms are in sync. I don't want to, credit my precision on my editing too much, but they're doing the Thunderbolt at the same time, but the time is dramatically different. That might be because he lagged during the lobby time, or lagged at some point in time, or his clock is out of sync. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just noticing as we're commenting through this battle. So again, pretty easy. We actually did this trio with all Giratinas as well, with Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and Giratina. It was fun to do, and I'll talk about a little bit later on why, one of the reasons why we should make the HP lower. So we're pounding away. We're gonna hit the Shadow Ball, and if Sparkle Tangerine didn't faint there, we would have beat it with like 33 seconds left, but that's just how the RNG rolls. And as you can see, the confetti lands at dramatically different times, but we completed the trio. Pretty happy about it. I'm always super excited to complete a trio or duo or solo, especially when I personally haven't done it myself. So, but enough that trio. We're going to talk about 3 reasons why the HP should be 12,500. So let's start off with the first reason. Lowering the HP of Defense Deoxys still makes it a very difficult raid. So how do I define the difficulty of a raid? So I define the difficulty leveraging PokeBattler.com's estimator. So shout out to PokeBattler.com. Links in the description. And as you can see, I've taken the 10 bulkiest Pokemon as defined mostly by their defense stat, so the 10 highest defense stats, and as well I've included Mewtwo at tier 6 because it's compared to other legendary raids, it has 50% more HP. So when you 50% increase its defense, it becomes like quote unquote one of the bulkiest legendary raids. And you'll see that of all these like bulky legendary raids, Defense Deoxys stands alone, very much at the top of the most difficult raid bosses as defined by this estimator. So you might be asking, what is this estimator? So the estimator, you can look at when you go into raids and you pick your Pokemon. In this case, we're going up against Defense Deoxys at level 40 with Best Friend boost. You'll see that Gengar's the number 1 attacker as sorted by estimator. When the moveset is unknown, which means it's averaging all the movesets, has a 3.3 estimator, which says that it takes on average 3.3 trainers to beat Defense Deoxys using Lick, Shadow Ball, Gengars when they have a full team of Gengars. And the best non-rare attacker, as I define as ones without legacy, rare legacy movesets. So I don't count Community Day moves as rare movesets. Or legendaries, you'll see that Tyranitar is at 3.85, and you might be like saying like those are just numbers, King. How do I contextualize them? So when we take a look at it compared to, so let's take a look at Defense Deoxys, the best attacker, which is on the left hand side, against Mewtwo at tier 6, one of the hardest legendary raid bosses to date. You'll see that it's a pretty significant difference. Mewtwo's best attacker, which is likely also Shadow Claw or Lick Gengar, or might be Giratina, is just over 3. While Defense Deoxys is 10% higher than tier 6 Mewtwo with 50% more HP. That's nuts. And you'll see that when it comes to the best non-rare attacker, it's a pretty big gap between that and the next one. And when we're talking about making Defense Deoxys a little bit easier, we're not talking about turning Defense Deoxys into Rayquaza level easy or Moltres level easy. We're talking about literally making it the 7th most difficult raid boss when using non-rare attackers, or the 10th most difficult. So basically putting it in the same level of difficulty as Registeel, a very similar profile Pokemon where it has like very low attack and high defense, somewhere between Registeel and Cresselia, which I think is like a very good company. It still requires you to reach out to your community. It doesn't mean that you can just go with one person and beat all these raid bosses. It still requires you to go into the community and socialize and work together to defeat the raid bosses. And I don't think making it a little bit easier just makes it a little bit more palatable for the community to actually do it. And we'll talk about in my other two reasons why also lowering the HP is desirable. The second reason is that battlers, people that PvP a lot, the ones that are actually interested in doing Defense Deoxys, because Defense Deoxys is one of arguably the best Pokemon in Great League, and in open Great League format. Its moveset's amazing. Its counter is the best fast move in the entire game. Psycho Boost is a really great charge move that has really great coverage moves against the entire meta with Rock Slide and Thunderbolt, and it's very tanky, which is good for PvP. So it scales down really well into the 1500 range, so it's quite tanky, has low stamina, but very, very high defense. And PvP battlers are people that want to do the raid, but they generally have fewer raid counters, like either fewer of that particular Pokemon or lower level or unpowered up versions of that Pokemon. So what I did was I posted on Twitter asking people to show me their Bite Tyrantars and show me your top Gengars. And what I've done is I've taken the average CP, and I've also asked them for their Great League and legendary Battle Legend medal, which is basically how many legendary rates, not perfect measures, to basically approximate, are they battlers, are they raiders, or are they both? And you'll see that battlers have on average almost 400 lower HP on their team of 6 Tyrantars than raiders, and they also have, more often than not, have fewer than 6 Tyrantars. And it's also the case that they're Gengars, which they also need to defeat some difficult moveset, or when it comes to when they have fewer people to defeat Defense Deoxys, they also have a much lower CP one. So they're basically rocking with like level 30 versions of these ones because they're investing their Stardust into PvP. So I think lowering the HP of Defense Deoxys in particular allows more people with perhaps like weaker or fewer of these counters to be able to defeat this raid boss when it's really not that desirable for those that only focus on raids or gym battles. Defense Deoxys is not good as a raid counter, is not good as a gym attacker, but is exceptional in PvP. So I think reducing it allows to get more battlers to raid more. There's many battlers that commented on the tweet that said that they don't like to raid legendaries. They don't like to do this stuff. And I think giving them the opportunity to integrate more with the community, especially a lot of PvP players, quote unquote battlers, return back to Pokemon Go because of PvP. They kind of miss that time period or that window when or don't quite fully understand how amazing it is to raid in community and to reach out to people and go out and raid. So I think this is a good opportunity to integrate more of them into the community. And when they integrate more of the people in the community, they might also bring up PvP tournaments and the Sylph Arena, and it might engage more people into PvP that otherwise wouldn't. And also, well, this is kind of a third and slightly random point. It boosts the invites for the first new EX raids. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if hopefully it's not Deoxys again. Whatever it is, I think it creates a lot of excitement when there's a lot of buzz around the new EX raids. And because Defense Deoxys and the other Deoxys forms are not that desirable to raiders, the number of invites is going to be quite low. So lowering the HP allows more people to go out and do the raid and get invites and create a lot of hype around the community, which I think is really, really important. And the third and final reason This is from a completely different perspective, is that the Pogo Raids Discord, if you haven't checked them out, I'm going to include a link in the description. These people are the most dedicated individuals to doing very difficult trios, duos, and solos, and they do all this like fun draft challenges, and there's many amazing and legendary players in this one that in my opinion, don't receive enough credit on the type of work and type of magic that they do in terms of raids, whether it's Seal Team 6 with Cuddy Wow, or it's Darkest David doing the most incredible raids, or it's 1v1 challenges that Chapo does. These people, the Discord, I actually got the numbers from the admins. There's over 1,600 people there, are very enthusiastic and engaged. And I think I know reducing the HP allows them to experience and try out new and fun and innovative ways to do trios. Because right now, the trio is not possible at 15,000 HP, but reducing it down will make it a little bit easier. So let's take a look at some of the things that could be done if the HP is at 15,000. So obviously I don't have the capabilities that making the HP at 12,500. I don't have the capabilities to modify Poke Battlers. So what I've done is I've done like an approximation version, which is basically making it foggy, which is gonna increase the dark and ghost attackers, which are the ones that you want to do the trio with. You can also weather boost, like potentially, I don't know what else you would look at. That's probably the only one. And you'll see there's fun ones. Obviously, the Gengar one is one particular one, but there's also other ones like, for example, how awesome would it be to see a trio done with Weaviles, where you only need really four Weaviles because of that ghost typing, and that dark typing allows it to double resist Zen Headbutt and Psycho Boost. And if people are able to manipulate or optimize the DPS, they might be able to do it with Honchkrows as well. And I'm sure there's many great raiders that could make it possible as well. If you make it the easier movesets like Counter Thunderbolt, there's opportunities to do, for example, like, actually I should sort this by time to win, and we'll make it Counter Rock Slide. There's opportunities to do with like 6 unique, where Gengars and Giratina are significantly below, or Giratina's kind of below the time, but they're significantly below the time period to actually make Thunderbolts easier because of Counter Thunderbolts or even Zen Headbutt, whatever, is below the time, and you're gonna be able to leverage and utilize, like, understand like how can I keep my Gengars and Giratinas alive long enough to actually do it. Or one fun one, and I'm sure this is possible, is actually to use 6 different moveset Gengars, maybe possible, maybe 4 for sure, 4 different movesets, all 4 of them with Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, Lick, Shadow Ball, Hex, Shadow Ball, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, are all reasonable trios that can be done. And then if you utilize Shadow Claw, Dark Pulse, which is actually Legacy moveset, I don't know who would have that, or you utilize some other particular variations, there's lots of creativity that can be done if you allow the HP to be lower just a tiny bit, Niantic. And you'll see that, one, as we talked about before, it will still make it a difficult raid. It'll still make people go out and reach out to the community. Secondly, it will allow battlers to have incentive or feel like it's more possible to do the raid, and allow them to integrate and meet other community members. And then lastly is let the people that are most dedicated to do the most challenging raids go out there and do something amazing and impress many people, impress people in their Discord, where they're 1,600 strong and they're very enthusiastic, and they do some of the most amazing challenges that I've ever seen. So anyways, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.